I have a message for people who bet on me today. You know, who won. Congratulations, guys.
Boxing.
Welcome back to the channel. Dmitry Bivol pulls off a fantastic performance against Canelo Alvarez, retaining his WBA light heavyweight title in a fantastic, unblemished, perfect performance against Canelo. And I'm very happy for Bivol. He's a great fighter, seems like a really great dude. And let's talk about this fight because it was an intriguing one. Pre-fight, I picked Bivol to win on points, and I thought he was going to go to a draw. We all know the judge situation, so let's just be happy about that. I tweeted out, I was like, you know, boxing wins, the judges did the right thing, but, you know, in retrospect, the judges tried to not do the right thing. Let's be honest, they tried to, but when you take a fight out of the hands, that's how you do it. You do it more. You win more. You don't let up, and you take it out of their hands, even if you don't knock your opponent down or knock him out. You put on a performance like that where they can't, like, if they had have squeezed a draw out of that, or even a Canelo win, that would have been outrageous. That would have been worse than the Triple G first one. And they wouldn't have got, well, they would have got away with it, of course, they always do, but that would have just been insane. That was a fantastic performance from Dmitry Bivol. Listen, all right, let's talk about the fight. Straight away, first round, it was plain to see for me that Bivol was not bothered by Canelo's, you know, power and like skill set. I guess he was very comfortable, and that, you know, he was able to take some of these shots. You know, if they were grazing on the arm, you know, my memory is shot to pieces. So if I'm missing up some of this fight, I only watched it once last night, and my memory is gone. So I'm trying to do my best to remember what happened, but I just remember thinking, Bivol looks comfortable in there. He doesn't look phased at all. The big stage hasn't phased him, and Canelo is in for a long night, I thought straight away. And it played out like that. Canelo was putting quite a bit of pressure on early. It was quite an energetic first round, and you know, Canelo was tired after what, the fourth, he maybe even earlier, but he was gassed. What, the fifth round or something like that? I was like, he's breathing heavy. And remember when Andre Ward mentioned about Anthony Yard being, you know, muscle bound and that those red blood cells filling up in the arms and making you more tired. We know Canelo was hitting the weight room hard. He's not a light heavyweight, and that showed, you know, that showed in every aspect that his punches weren't doing that much, or if anything. Even though he committed so many shots to the arm, to Bivol's arm, that didn't do anything because Bivol's so strong. There was one point where he went to shoot like just target in the arm, and Bivol countered beautifully. And I mentioned pre-fight, he can counter punch quite sharply, and he was doing that. And that adds another seed of doubt into your opponent when you're doing things that they probably don't expect. And I mentioned about the 1-2-1 as well. That's a sneaky punch. Bivol was doing that, and he was countering with it as well. And that probably would have added more doubt for Canelo. And Canelo's face, I haven't seen his face like that ever. And you can go back to the Floyd fight where his face was like a bit dejected just because of he was being outskilled, okay? And he's like, wow, I don't know if I can beat this guy. And that was the look he had, but that was a more assured look of himself, because it's not fear, but not the thing like, oh, how am I going to deal with this guy? But with the Bivol, it's like, I can't, this guy's a big man, he's taking my punches. That's the psychological doubt that I saw in Canelo with his face looking the way it was. And I'm going to go on a rant now, okay? And if you're a bit prone to not liking swearing, I would switch this part off, because I'm going to go in on Eddie Reynoso, who every time Canelo got back to the corner, he was asking him, "Como siente?" which means, how you doing? How you doing, bro? What a fucking stupid question to ask someone. You can get away with it doing once every single round. How you doing, bro? Well, how the fuck do you think I'm doing? I'm getting my fucking face punched in. How are you doing, Eddie? From the side with your fucking stool and your bottle of water. Yeah, I'm fucking great. How the fuck do you think he's going to answer that question? Yeah, I'm good. He's not good. And what that does is layer more doubt that now his trainer knows that he's not good. You have 1 minute in between the rounds to assure your fighter, G him up and get some tactics in him, okay? And within the first 10 seconds, he doesn't want to hear, how are you doing? Every single fucking time. How you doing? I'm good down here. Corner's looking nice. I'm going to catch the fight. I might even have a margarita down here or whatever. Obviously, that's a joke, but like, fuck. How are you doing? I get it once, but stop fucking asking him that, Eddie. Jesus. Sorry. Oh, God, I've been waiting to do that rant for a long time. I've got a few more rants in me. Maybe not today, but Canelo looked beat, okay? He looked tired. Nothing was, he wasn't able to impose himself. And Canelo, when he fights people, he's very relaxed because he's usually, he's the sharper, more talented, more powerful, more skilled, and he wasn't that. And you could see that. And then he didn't have an answer for it. But mentally, I was like, I want to see Canelo let it hang out. But in my heart, I was like, I don't think he can. He's not that type of fighter. And I wonder if his Mexican compadres were on like a WhatsApp chat saying, he ain't got the same heart as us, like Barrera, Morales, Marquez, Julio Cesar Chavez. Canelo's not built like them, in a different way. I know that's controversial. It's just out there. It is what it is. He's an absolutely amazing fighter, Canelo is, and I'm not taking anything away from him really, but other than I don't think he's got as much heart as them, but that's just my opinion. I didn't see it in the Triple G fight in the first one, and I didn't see it last night. But look, he's not a light heavyweight. No shame in that whatsoever. I don't think, other than the heart part and his fucking stupid trainer. Eddie Reynoso's got a lot to prove, you know what I mean? He really has taken some losses this year. Doesn't look like he's had the best game plans in each of them, and he tells his fighters the most bullshit, how are you doing? How are you doing? I'm great, coach. Yeah, good. I'm good. Thanks for asking. Cool. I remember I got asked that. I've been asked that when I'm getting beaten the shit out of me in sparring. How you doing, mate? You alright? No, I'm fucking not alright. I'm not okay. I'm not going to tell you that either, but stop asking me. Alright. Let me just calm down for a second because the fight itself was intriguing. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed watching Bivol. He was fantastic. He put on a perfect performance. In and out. I mentioned that pre-fight. He's not going to be there for those body shots. He's very disciplined. Okay? He's a disciplined fighter, and that is so important in boxing. And when there was one time where he was teeing off on Canelo, and Canelo was just weirdly just taking the shots, not all of them were clean, but I'm like, he wasn't doing the same head movement as he was earlier on. He did it a little bit later, but and then he Bivol backed off, and Canelo was like, come on in, and he didn't. That's the sort of mental discipline that it takes. He was obviously trying to, lure him in or whatever, and just try and take him off his game plan. Bivol didn't fall for it for 1 second. He's like, no, I'm good. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to stick to my boxing. He sticks to his boxing, and he's a great fighter, and he's going to be very hard to beat. No one's ever come close to beating him. Boxing wins again. It's great that the judges didn't give it to fucking Canelo. I've got to stop swearing, pardon me, but I'm just amped up because I just really like boxing. I love it, and you can tell sometimes because I go off on these tyrants. More of those to come. But look, I don't think Canelo should take that rematch. When you can't get your own way with a fighter and he's much bigger than you, you're not in that you don't belong in that weight class. How can Canelo beat Bivol? Seriously, when Bivol was countering off the ropes with catch and shoots and he was beating him in Bivol wasn't landing all the cleaner shots in the middle, but he was dominating really. Great performance. And Canelo, should go back down, get to his weight division, see what he wants to do with his stupid coach Eddie Reynoso. Asking him he's probably asked him how he's doing. How you doing, mate? You alright? In the morning. You okay? Stop fucking asking me. And then needs to reassess what they're going to do next. You know, he's got plenty of options, but that was the first time where I wasn't picking Canelo to win. And when you are in a fight, when you're up against it, that's when you find out how real your heart is. And I've known that about Canelo in the Triple G, the first fight, and that's when you are chipped, when the back's against the wall, you're losing the fight, and you know he didn't let it hang out. He did not. Anyway, I don't even know if I really broke the fight down. I was just like, I can't really remember it that well. I just remember Eddie Reynoso. And, you know, Canelo just thinking, I just thought straight away, this is a tough fight. Straight away, because Bivol looked comfortable. When you're a big, strong guy and you've got this, like, strong frame, you've got bigger bones in your arms, you could take those shots, you know. He took I think I've already mentioned this, he took a dead arm from Canelo and countered back with a left hook, or it might have been a 1-2-1. Either way, that is impressive. And that just shows you right there that those arm punches, not that they weren't having an effect, they were, because you could see his arm was but not to the same effect it was like someone like Plant, where it's going to affect the punching. That's the whole point of doing that. And you know, if you wonder if you see how Golovkin was coming around the outside against Murata, you wonder if Canelo had that ability, because there were moments where Bivol had a bit of there was a gap there, and Canelo was choosing to shoot him on the arms. If it had the ability to hook round like Golovkin, he'd have had more success. Maybe he did a little bit, but you know, yeah. Anyway, that's probably it from me. I apologize for all the swearing. Let me know what you think about the fight. I'm glad the right man won. I'm very glad for Dmitry Bivol. Like I said before, he seems like a wonderful human being, and boxing wins again. We are on an absolute flying roll right now. I've got a couple more videos coming out this week for the fights next week. A junior middleweight undisputed fight. Boots Ennis is back as well. Marching on. The sport keeps marching on, and it's great. We all win. So listen, boxing on the edge. Take care of yourself. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon.